So, where is this going? Where is this going to stop? Let's just drag this line here. And let's just do a bar replay, start new. I'm just going to see if we've got anything in this area over here a minute. That's roughly where it is now. Let's just check the 1 minute. Okay, right, so what we got here? Okay, so if this was reversing now, obviously it's just swept an A setup, but we still have an A plus setup down here with potential of reversal. So let's just put on the sessions, see what sessions these are. Asia session as well. Okay, so might have something in this area. And there to there. Just leave this. Oh, we actually getting a reversal there. I quite like this order block that was just here, just for it to carry on selling down. But we don't know right now what it's going to do. I mean, that's huge drop from last night. I mean, if you look at that on the daily, I think it was a daily. We're just looking at gap, massive candle, massive candle. I we this could be the reversal here, but we just don't know because ideally, when it's come down and sweep these, I presume. So we're just going to have to just play it by ear at the moment, be a little bit safe with what's going on. Um, this is obviously a support and resistance zone, this yellow box. So you can see as we drop down to what you had, it was mucking around in this area. So by 7 o'clock, I would definitely be looking at these order blocks for a sell. Um, and you could, because with DAX, what I'm finding is, okay, it's got a blue line there. It likes to take highs or lows, especially on the Frankfurt London Open. So we potentially got a sell down to this blue line here. Um, let's have a look at some potential. Actually, that one there is gone. So this is our only order block really that is available. I think that's a monster trade. So if anything, I'd probably cover that high, even though obviously it says not to cover that high. It gives you a little bit of leeway, especially with the spread at this time of the morning. Um, so that's a potential for today on this order block right here. We're getting a 5 minute buy order block this morning as well. So if this is the reversal, um, we could be taking this Asia high. So again, we've got potential there. We've just obviously got to wait for 7 a.m. Okay, so and obviously look, we've got nice and balanced, which is above. So what I've been finding with DAX is it likes to take a high with an imbalance. So obviously in a buy situation, we've got a high here, we've got a nice big imbalance above here, which is perfect. Obviously with gold, we've got those strict rules that we must stick to because it can just reverse at any moment. What did I find? So we don't really have much on gold apart from this sell here. which is okay. So that's fine. So we can mark this one up. I quite like the look of this one. So we might the chart. What the chart might do this morning is obviously just play around, blah blah blah. Come out almost tap. That's fine. Um, and then obviously what we'd probably be looking for then is the chart to come down. We want it to sweep and then go back down again. So ideally, this would be our take profit in this area right here. Right, so this is ideally, so if we've got a nice and balance here, that's going to be our take profit. So again, if this was the high that almost come up and tapped into it, I would be then looking to cover this high for this imbalance, for it to sweep and then obviously target the imbalance below. So again, we do have the potential of it's 11 there, that's fine. It's sort of 3.5% trade, but at the moment we don't know what's happening there. So we're just going to have to just wait and see what happens with that when it comes to 7 o'clock. Um, I've got an idea. How about we back test a random? I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to March last year because let's just have a quick look. Start new March. Let's go to March last year. And let's just see what the results were for March last year. Obviously, I deleted all of my bloody markups, didn't I, by accident, because it was on RTH. So, right, what we got here? So Asia is this Friday. So let's just press play. Let's do some back testing of some results from last year and what we might be able to expect this year. Obviously, we've got a war on right now, so obviously the results are going to be completely different. Um, there's no harm in back testing anyway. So currently we've got nothing on the 5. We do on the 1. So look, this is perfect. Let's see about this sweep here. Actually, this order block we're going to have to cover something else because it's obviously an A setup. Finally, with the A's, ideally you want the imbalance, but you're going to have to probably cover that. Let's just see how this plays out in a minute. So obviously the risk to reward has to be worth it. Okay, so at the moment we've got a potential of a decent risk to reward if this comes back. Yeah, it's nothing really there on that day. That Asia session there. Okay, so what we got there? Do we have anything on the 1 minute? Morning, Tom.
Morning, mate.
How's it going? All right.
Not bad.
Just doing a little back test of March last year.
Good man.
I know obviously it's not going to correspond with anything which is happening right now because obviously we're about to go to war, but um, it's always handy to try and see what results were last year. So at the moment, I don't know if this is obviously going to be coming back because it obviously is so bullish. I mean, what I'll do is I'll just mark up the 5 minute for now. And I mean, we could get a 2:30. I mean, we're already into New York, so I just don't see this coming back, in my opinion. But 17:30, I'm not even bothered about entering a trade that late in the day. So let's see what we got here. Da, 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 da. Okay, all right, so this was already tapped pre 7 a.m. Okay, so right in the middle of a buy and a sell. So okay, EMA is here. Let's just mark this up. Obviously, this is an A setup, so I'd like to cover this high, in my opinion. Obviously, and down here we've got another A setup as well. So I'd be looking to cover these wicks here. For it to come down, potentially wick. Doesn't always have to tap the order block, but sometimes that happens. So we'll just swap back onto the 5. Let's just see where it goes. Right, so we would have been swept on this one. So that's -1. And okay, getting a little bit closer here. So let's just say the alert's just gone off. I mean, we do have an exit up there. Wrong position. But potential of a 5% trade. Let's just swap this back onto 5. Ah, -2 that day. So here's what it is. I mean, what would the stop stop loss be on this? I mean, to be honest, that's super tight, in my opinion, anyway. So could we have covered something else? I mean, look, we could have covered this wick. We could have covered this wick. I mean, if we did cover that wick there, but time tapped in. Let's just bar replay this back again. So did we actually have a potential exit? Yeah, there was obviously something there. Is it going to be decent risk to reward? I think it was about there, wasn't it? Not really worth the risk to reward on that one. So we do have the imbalance down here. Okay, and that's obviously a 3.75. So yes, this is obviously a setup, should we say? All right, because of how the order block's finished. In my opinion, to cover from there to there was going to be super tight. Um, if you was to have that there, that's still only 3 pips. It's super, super tight. And just to cover that, that's too tight in my opinion. So if you did give yourself some extra breathing space, which I don't think there isn't any harm in doing if it is that super tight, then there is the potential of actually still gaining a decent trade. And if that was news, 130, it might have been news that day. So if it was news, then obviously it's irrelevant anyway. Or I mean, you'd want to be out. I mean, you could have probably got out on this candle here, but who knows? It's just one of those. I just think obviously if it is super tight, then you need to kind of like do a bit of back testing on this yourself and find out, if I am covering that, am I literally just going to get a wick and it goes, or do I need to cover something else? So it's something possibly to have a look at, guys. Let's just make sure that this is deleted. All right, back onto the 5. What's your thoughts on the charts this morning, Tom? Especially DAX. Okay, so what have we got here? Coming up to 7 o'clock. Um, so do we have anything here? It's a 1. It's a
Sorry,
no.
mate. It looks more wild than yesterday.
Oh, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yesterday looked
Yeah,
tame compared to that.
it is dropping. Be interesting to see where it goes. We were just looking at a potential area. Um, in a minute, I'll get back up to that area in a minute. So I think I don't know if it's still is it reversing or is it still dropping?
Have a look. dropping, mate.
Mm. Yeah, so it would have just blown through a potential zone there then. Right, here we go. So this is perfect. Sometimes what I'm finding, guys, on the next right, so no order blocks there. This is just before London opens. Again, so what have we got here? We got a high, got a high. Probably would be an imbalance there on a 1 minute. But we do have a low with an imbalance below. So, I mean, we'll mark this one up just for now. It's an A. So we need to cover this area here. If I was looking, I was just putting the wrong one. I was looking at a trade here. Again, I'd be looking to take these highs. No, sorry, this is not DAX. So I was confusing myself there. This is gold. So what we've got here, got to wait for an exit on gold. Did we actually have an exit? So tiny little imbalance there. I don't think so. We would have missed our entry on this one. It was so close. Oh, and we got taken out. What was that? 1405. Crazy. So it must have been. That's a crazy open, that is. Yeah, so -1 there. There's probably some sort of news or some sort of event going on. Let's have a quick look, see if we're getting anything else this week. All right, we're already on Friday. There's not enough price action in this session for me when I'm looking at that. It's not even an order block there. Yes, there is. Yeah, there is. So these ones are back here. So what have we got here? So I'd be looking to cover these wicks here. Okay. Those ideally come up, just wick pass, tap this and balance and go again. Sometimes it will wick all the way up into the order block, but we just don't know. I like to just cover those. It gives us a little bit extra to play around them with entry as well. Okay. So we would have had the perfect exit there if that actually came into play. That again is super tight, just below 2 pips. I mean, obviously the risk and reward was worth it. That was super tight in my opinion. Five, anything on the one. Nothing on the one. Just gonna go through this day. Yeah, so we might have actually had a trade set up here. Right, that's the order block. Pre 7 a.m. Let's check on the 1 minute, see if there's anything better. No, don't really have an exit plan on this. So again, obviously you can target other imbalances, but the preferred exit, in my opinion, is for a leg. So I'm not going to set that up as a trade right now. And there you go. March is not being very nice right now. Now, if we were to set up this buy here, potentially still be in this. So if we're going to cover a wick, I'd probably, you could cover this one here. We do have an exit. Obviously, it's not on the same leg. So my preferred trade right now is going to be this one rather than this one. Okay, so we've just gone and tapped up into this area here. This is obviously an A plus setup. Again, where would I cover? Maybe cover that bit of imbalance there. Um, we do have an exit, which is here. Again, it's still super tight, so just give it a little bit extra, maybe like 2.5 or something like that. So we do have an exit there, so it's a 2.62% trade. Well, that's a -1. So it looks like this one here was probably the better order block to take. Yeah, the session. In this, it doesn't look like there's any trades these last couple of days. March is not from last year was not looking very promising right now. Could be missing a trade there. Okay, so there was an order block there. So we would have covered that there. So we'd have had a -1 on that trade. Or was there something at the top here? That's an order block there. It's an order block. So we already know that one's lost anyway. So see if it was mark this up. There's nothing really there to kind of like cover at the moment. Maybe that wick that was just covered there. Yeah, I'd probably cover that one. So let's just press play on this, see what it does. Obviously, I think it loses straight away, but might have been able to get a quick little cheeky trade out of this. Yes, it just went straight through it. Yeah, so nothing on that one. God, March 2025 has not been very good. I'm running out of time, so I presume we've got 10 minutes left, it's saying. I guess we'll have a look at the Golden Dax in about 5 minutes' time, see if there was anything. See if there's anything there. Try and maybe complete this month. Asia, yes, we have got something there. Type of setup. I'd probably class that as an A. So, let's see, that's too late in the evening for me. So, potentially had an exit on this one here. Cover that little bit high there. Let's drop onto the 1 minute. So let's just go. Let's go back up to this. There is an exit there. Short position. Okay. Put this out, doesn't it? So it's fine. And what have we got on this area here? So we have got another A set up there. Yeah, there's nothing really to cover there. So if there's something really covered, then just cover the order block. Maybe just cover that. I don't know. It's some sort of news event there or something. Not really bothered with it. There's not a lot of action in Asia session there for me. Yeah, it's a bit more movement. Okay, so look at this one. It was close, but not quite there. Right, I'm going to exit this and I'm going to have a look at what we've got potentially today, if we have anything. And the chart is. Okay, so we've got potential here for a sell, and I think on the 1 minute there was a buy order block. That must have gone. Maybe that was on DAX. So at the moment we've only got this potential sell on gold, which I don't mind the look of because we've got this big 4 hour imbalance down here. So I quite like the look of that, I think, for it to come down and target this area down here. So I'm definitely looking at that potential sell right now. Oh, here we go. There's the okay. That was the buy order block that was just there a minute ago. A little bit wary about these support and resistance zones, not stones. We do have a sell here. Find it the this already gone. This one here has barely been tapped, but it has been tapped, which is the problem. Yeah, so that to me it's come up and it's tapped the body. So I'm not interested in that one. I'm not interested in that one at all either. Um, see if this one is still live in 25 minutes. I doubt it will be, but who knows? So yeah, currently we have buy potential, which is obviously in this zone. These red lines is that zone that I was just talking about earlier. So if we go back onto the 4 hour and I do a quick little go over this, I think it was on the 1 minute. There we go. So on the 1 minute, this is the bottom of the current low. We've come down, we've swept obviously this A setup. Ideally, I'd like to see this swept into this order block and then obviously to go long again, but we just don't know what it's going to do there. So I would just stick with obviously the main setups for now. Don't worry about what's happening in this zone right now, but it's just obviously where it could be a target area, you see. Anyone got any questions? Well, we've got a couple minutes left. Um, you want me to try and go over anything while we've got a couple minutes left? Did everyone have dinner last night? Tapped into that balance, broken through that order block, which was sort of right on the support and resistance zone. Right, guys, I'm gonna wrap that up because we've got less than a minute. So hopefully today's not too crazy for you. And just remember try and stick to the rules if possible. Right, see you later.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.
Steve. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.